What if there was a device in the vehicle that just soon as you pulled up to the pump, it transmitted the data since the last time that vehicle gassed up, just the number of miles driven. For privacy folks, it's not like where they drove or, where they were at, but it's just the miles driven. And it gets reflected on the price that you pay in the pump. So instead of, you're not paying the gas tax if you have that device, you're paying just for the miles you drove. So it takes care of any of this credit rebate stuff where they are doing it in Oregon. You just, you've got that device, there's your charge for the miles you drove.
Today is December the 8th, 2017. We are in Riverside at the county building. We are here today because the California Transportation Commission Technical Advisory Committee is meeting here today. They only meet a couple of times a year and they usually meet all over the state, so I have never had an opportunity to actually go to one of these meetings. In this meeting today, they are going to be discussing taxing us by the mile. They want to tax you and track you for every mile that you drive, because the intent is to make it so expensive to drive a car that you are unable to.
Good morning. Where do I begin? I'm just going to tick off a few things that I was reading on some of the information you put out today. One of the things that struck me was on tab 6, where it indicates one of the objectives is to reduce the reliance on automobiles. Well, what have you proposed for the senior to do? We cannot walk to the market and bring all our groceries home. We cannot walk to go to the mall. We cannot ride a bike. And if we did, and you propose that we all get bicycles, all we need is one good fall and there goes the hip. We cannot afford to call Uber or Lyft or a taxi. How do we get around? And how much exposure do you give us sitting at a bus stop? We are crime candidates for crimes. We are the people that people like to scam on, to attack and to rob. Where are you putting our lives with this ridiculous thing? The second thing is, in your memorandum, you indicate that the legislature, should continue pursuing other long-term alternatives. What other long-term alternatives? And now you're saying that this tax may be $1 and 1.8 cents. But then when is it going to be that you're going to tax us or charge us differently because we're driving in prime time rather than at 3 o'clock in the morning? There are no controls in this. And the other things that I want to ask about is, what about the visitors to California? How are you going to charge them? And what gasoline taxes that we're now paying are you going to eliminate? There is a point when all of a sudden taxation becomes without representation. And we're seeing more and more of that. We know what happens when electric gets angry. And this electric is getting very angry. You can only be pushed so far until it's either fight or die or leave. And right now there's a lot of people leaving. I myself am contemplating doing the same thing. So I just want to wrap up and say this tax is discriminatory against seniors. And I want to ask the question that I just want to say that you talk about fixing the roads. Why are we going to fix the roads if we're not going to be able to drive our cars?
Thank you very much, Ms. Gonzalez. Judy Neal, followed by Greg Allen. And following Greg Allen, I've got Donald Dix. Yep. Hi, Judy.
Hi, Judy Neal. I like Carolyn. I'm a senior. I just turned 70 years old. I lost my husband in October. I'm now living on a very fixed income. And for all of you sitting up there, you have to consider what you're doing to the seniors in this state. We've paid our taxes. We've paid our way through every single year that we have lived in this state. Now we have intruders coming into our state, and you're giving them carte blanche on everything. We will have visitors from other states, like Mrs. Gonzalez said. How are they going to be affected by this tax that you're going to be inflicting onto the citizens of this state? My son lives in Nevada. I'm going to have to think maybe twice about taking 2 trips a year. My daughter's moving to Arizona because they're tired of being taxed to death. I have a daughter in Texas. That's where I'm looking to live because you know what? My dollar doubles, almost triples in other states. So for me, it's like, how much more are you going to put on us? How much? Because I can't afford it. And I wanted to die in the state where I was born. But I'm not going to be able to do that because you're forcing people who pay their way out of this state. And I am angry. I have no idea what you're all thinking. We have cap and trade, SB 1. You have taxed us this past year to the point of millions of dollars. I'm not going to be able to afford my registration. I'm not going to be able to afford my property tax because of SB 231, the sewer tax. My parcel tax is going to go up almost $1,200 to $1,800 a year. So, sit back and look at what you're doing to the people who pay your wages. Thank you.